Hi, this is Robbie with Untitled Photography. I had an idea today to create a very specific type of photograph using a flower, a water droplet on it, and then a couple Photoshop filters, Fractalize, I'll show you in a little bit. But it lets you transform any image into almost like a dream. It's a really cool effect, but I need the right image to do it. I want one droplet of water on a flower petal, kind of looking forward, maybe see the flower reflecting in the water droplet behind it, and then we'll turn it into a dream. We'll call it like a tear on a water droplet. So I have my flower on a stand behind me. I'm going to use my giant beauty dish behind it. Hopefully the reflection of the beauty dish itself, because the water droplet's round, you're going to get the reflection of the light source. So hopefully it'll be small enough we can just clone that out in Photoshop. I'm going to use the A77 with a 100mm macro lens, close to 1:1 magnification. Since we're going to be turning this into like a dream, we don't really need a focus stack. So let's get started. This should be a pretty quick shoot. I know exactly what I want to create. I know how to create it, so I'm going to hopefully be able to balance one droplet of water on this flower petal, and we'll see what we get. So I have my flower on a stand that's kind of rubber banded so it stands straight up exactly how I need it. I have some water in a little cooking syringe thing, so now we need one water droplet. There we go. So now I was able to get one droplet standing on a petal. Now we'll move the camera over and take some pictures. Manual focus, macro, I always, or almost always use manual focus, just because it's easier. Okay, I like what we're getting. We can see the water droplet in there. We can see a little bit of the center of the flower refracted in the water droplet. Now I'm going to use a little bounce card to give it some fill light and to change the background. We're shooting at the water droplet, and behind it is the red flower, but since the water droplet is able to refract basically the entire room, it's picking up my wall and other things. So I'm going to use this white card here to stick above it so the water droplet will pick up a white background. And there we are. I think we have an image that I can work with. So now let's go into Lightroom, do a little tweak, and then we'll go into Photoshop and show you how this effect works. So now into Lightroom, I got pretty much exactly what I was looking for. So straight out of the camera, or with minor develops, this is what we got. So this is straight out of the camera. This is with some manipulations. Fairly simple edits. Have a little bit of pollen and whatnot. You can see how shallow our focal plane is here. It's actually pretty amazing. So here's our beauty dish reflection, and the flower, the center of the flower is being refracted up into the drop of water, which is pretty cool. I like that. All in all, this is exactly what I was looking for. So the next step was to take it into Photoshop and do some very minor edits. Just removed the pollen and removed our beauty dish. That was simple. I don't really need to show how to do that. So then the next step was to turn it into this, which is kind of like a dreamy effect, and I like this a lot. So let's go into Photoshop and I'll show you exactly what filter this is and how it works. Okay, so the plugin we're going to be using right now is called Fractalius, I believe. I've had it for a long time. I kind of forgot that I had it. So I'm using an older version. Unfortunately, it's only 32-bit, so I have to use my old version of Photoshop. And it's single core, so it's slow as hell, but it creates some incredible images. There's some of the stuff from their website. So let's go into my old version of Photoshop and see what we can do. So here's our final edit. So let's start over. The first thing that I needed to do because I'm shooting with a 24.5 megapixel A77 was drop the size of the image in half. If I don't do that, this literally takes like 25 minutes to process. So we have our image. I want to duplicate it so I have my original to work with, so then I can merge the new version back with the old version to take some of the dreaminess off of it, give it some kind of a realistic feel. So once the plugin is installed, it'll be called Fractalius, and right away you can see some really incredible effects. The glows I like a lot. So I like that one a lot, and I like slow motion. It tends to have a really cool effect. So for right now, we're going to go with glow 80. And I think that's okay for right now. So let's process that. And after about 3 minutes, we get this back, which by itself is amazing. I love how whatever this filter does, it makes things look beautiful. So, original Fractalius version. So some of it's a little bit too extreme. I would like to have some of my original flower texture in here. So I'm going to create a layer mask, drop the opacity just a little bit, and we'll create our layer mask. We'll do some simple painting around. Oop. And I think I also want to create another layer in here. I also want to paint around this. This white droplet got almost a halo, so I want to get rid of some of that. We're also going to use a different blending mode. So let's replicate this layer. Don't need this layer mask. I'm going to go with a lighten. So it just adds a little bit extra in here. And we'll also add a layer mask on this guy. Just paint off certain areas. I like what that does. So go from our original to a really cool fine art image that's a teardrop on a rose petal or a flower petal, and it feels like a dream. It's almost surreal, but this is exactly what I was going for. So I hope this inspires you to play with this Fractalius filter. You have to purchase it, but still it's worth it. It does some amazing stuff. I believe there's a demo for it also, so you can kind of experiment. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.